So when I was in undergrad, I had a couple friends who were dancers. They were in the dance department, and they studied to become professional dancers and choreographers. And so I used to go watch the performances, and that was a lot of fun. I always enjoyed seeing what they came up with. There was so much creativity, and I didn't dance. I did martial arts, but I really appreciated what they were pulling off physically, and it was beautiful to watch. Also, just just to see the physicality and excellence was really cool. And I didn't understand it. I don't know that especially contemporary dance. I don't know that it's something to be understood. But I knew that I was intrigued, and I enjoyed it, and that was that. And then I wasn't around dance very much for a number of years, and it certainly wasn't anything I was thinking about. And then I think it was probably about 10 years after I graduated from undergrad, I was still in the area around NYU. And I met this young woman, and it turned out that I found out she was in the dance department. And I was very excited, and she had a performance. So I went to watch the performance, and I got to, again, see all these dancers and see, what people at NYU were doing 10 years later. And that was really exciting. As I was watching, I noticed that my body was sort of twitching. They would spin, and my body would sort of do these little twitches. And now I kind of understand what was happening, which is, inherently we model each other just visually. I mean, that's how we learn as children, as babies. You have what are called mirror neurons, and our body is always learning from the people around us. And so when my body was sort of twitching, it was emulating the movements that I was seeing. And there was this moment towards the end of the performance, and it was beautiful performance. Each of the dancers choreographed a piece. And there was this moment at the end of it, and I realized, wow, I want to dance. And I was horrified, because it was so outside of my realm of experience. And but there was something in me. I just felt like, wow, I really want to dance. Now, I had done, I'd gone to dances, and I enjoyed social dancing, but I'd never done any type of never really done any proper dance classes. And I was really, really kind of horrified by the whole idea. I mean, I was a martial artist. It was like serious stuff, and like the idea of me going to a dance class was really scary. So, but somehow down deep, I had just never noticed that it was something that I really wanted to do. But this performance really, somehow I noticed it. I don't know how I hadn't noticed it. Maybe it was because I didn't feel it was socially acceptable or something, but something in me, a switch flipped over, and I was like, wow, this is something I really want to do. And I just never had acknowledged it to myself. So, and I also knew I definitely didn't want anybody seeing me do that. I was shy enough as it was about performing. So it wasn't that I wanted to perform. I just wanted to go try out a dance class. So I went to, I found a local school, and I went down, and, for me, the hardest thing is just kind of getting my feet in the door of a place. So I went down to this place, and I went inside, and I kind of walked around and looked in the windows of a couple of the classes and watched them. And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna take a dance class. And I had to reassure myself, like, nobody here knows me. So there's no reason to feel shy. And of course I felt shy, but I figured nobody's gonna know me. It's not a problem. And so the next week I went down and I took my first dance class, and it was great. I really liked it. It was really challenging physically, um, but it was a beginning class, so I could do enough that it wasn't horrible. And what I found was nobody nobody noticed me. Like nobody. One thing I realized in dance classes, everybody's so fixated on their own experience, and especially if there's a mirror, everyone's eyes are on themselves in the mirror for the most part. Um, and and so I started going, and I started going every week, and eventually I started going 2, 3 times a week, and and then I would do that, and I would do martial arts. So I found a way of doing both, and it turned into a great part. It's turned into a great part of my life. You know, I made a lot of friends. It's a fantastic community, and I feel like it's something that I can, in any city, I can go walk into a dance school and find a beginner or beginner like class and just have a lot of fun. And it's such an immediate release of emotion. You know, it's I think it's very easy to forget that we live in our bodies, and we have all these emotions, but we don't usually get a chance to kind of move in the emotion of things and express things through movement. Um, and so I highly recommend dance. I highly recommend martial arts. Any sort of movement is incredibly fulfilling, and just a huge release of energy and release of any tension that's going on in your body. And in fact, I recommend, you know, almost at the same level that I recommend meditative practice, I recommend putting on some music and just dancing for 5, 10 minutes a day. Like there's almost nothing that will lift your emotional state more rapidly than just dancing. So I highly recommend that you do that. You can make sure nobody's watching. That's perfectly fine, and just dance and just follow whatever your body is feeling. And if it's not dance, if that's too much of a stretch, then find some sort of physical movement practice. There's one really phenomenal dancer and choreographer, a guy named Randy Warshaw, and he was so fit, and I got to meet him years ago, and I asked him how he worked out, and what he shared with me was, he basically said that every day he would get down on the floor and he would just start moving, and he would follow just the impulse of how his body wanted to move. And it was amazing. His physicality was like a wild animal. I mean, it was just incredible what he pulled off. But the thread that he said, like, kind of drove the whole thing was following how his body felt like moving that day. And I thought that was fantastic. So that's a practice I recommend as well. Just, get on the ground or standing up and just start moving however your body is inviting you to move. So I hope this story inspires you to get out and move. Our bodies are something to be loved and appreciated and enjoyed. So yeah, give that a shot.